Found IT. We find Fred laying on her bed at her feet, just far enough away not to be affected by whatever is hurting my Violet. I quietly say, "Hey, Fred, are you awake?" Fred yawns. He was asleep. Therein, you're back. Who's that with you? I answer Fred. Oh, that's my brother, Doran. Fred answers, glad to meet you. I tell him, Fred, we don't have time for pleasantries. Is Violet wearing a new piece of jewelry? If not, where is her school bag and clothing that she wore when she came in? Fred says, no, nothing new on her person. Her bag is in the closet though. Clothing is in the hamper. I say to him, okay, Fred, could you take the bag out of the closet first for me? Carefully. We need to look in it. Be careful though. There may be something dangerous inside of it. Fred says to me, okay, boss. Fred pulls out Violet's school bag. You're right, Theron. There is something wrong in this bag. I can feel and smell it. I don't know why I couldn't smell it before. This is the object Dad had told us about. The dirt on it smells like it came from a graveyard. It is so powerful, Fred starts to fall over sick. He got way too close to it for his own good. This thing is nothing but pure evil. We must destroy it here and now. We can't wait to bring it outside. It's too dangerous for that. I also don't want it affecting Morty, our new fox friend. Doran and I summon our Stormbringer powers, and two small black clouds start to form near the ceiling. Then we both hit it with multiple small lightning bolts. Somehow, it still survives, barely. I guess it has some measure of protection on it. I tell Doran, we need to hit that thing again, and we do. This time, it literally disintegrates into nothing. The rug is scorched and wet, and there is nothing that I can do about that now. Fred slowly starts to feel better. Violet is still in mostly the same condition. Though she does seem to be sleeping a little better, we send Fred out of the room to get water for himself. I jump on the bed and examine Violet. After a few minutes, I realize, though, she's breathing better, but she is still sick. There is no way of knowing how long that evil thing was in her backpack. Doran and I have to go back to Dad and let him know. My pet is slightly better, but still sickened by whatever spell is on her. Though she may awaken in the morning, I have to find a way to counter this spell. She must have had that doll in her backpack for a week or more. The spell is to set in. Or so I think. I smirk and answer him, family secret. Look, buddy, same. Keep an eye on Violet for me, and now and then physically check her. She is not in immediate danger, but she is still very sick. I'm going to have to do even more. The family will be okay now no matter what happens, with the doll, or whatever it really is destroyed. The only person in danger is Violet. The doll was corrupting everything living in the house. This is very powerful form of black magic. I actually rub my face on Fred to let him know I care and leave the same way we came in with my broth. We pop outside and meet up with Morty. We are both tired from the teleports as well as raising the storms inside the house. We can only teleport 3 to 6 feet, but it's enough to go outside. I tell Morty that we need to find a place to rest for an hour. Teleporting takes a lot out of us. Morty shepherds us down the block to a row of bushes that we can hide under. I am suddenly grateful to this fox for helping us. If he didn't, we'd have to sleep in shifts. It takes us several hours to get back to the park. We move slowly and carefully. Fortunately, the weather at night is decent, not too cold. We spot one small pack of dogs and hunker down in a good hiding spot near some trees and wait for them to pass. While there, we also look out for owls. Now owls are smart and scary. As much as Morty and I are predators, owls are even more so. They would prey on us, given the chance. Fortunately, we don't see any. During the daytime, I can spot hawks and owls at a distance. Nighttime is a little scary by comparison. We then continue to Fulton Memorial Park and get there just after the sun comes up. The price of being fed, and my folks don't mind. Mom and Dad actually like these humans, and I can't blame them. They really seem to take good care about them. They really go all out. Dad gets up shortly, and after he stretches, he says to us, "I see Morty found you guys," with a sly grin on his face. He knew that Morty was following us. After all, I answer my dad. We picked up his scent just after we left the park and met him. Morty laughs at that and says, "Met me? Hell, your kids. They set up a good ambush and jumped me. Thought I was hunting them, I guess," with a smirk on his face. I also laugh and say, "What did you expect? You were following us unannounced." I know that if I can't find a way, she will die a horrible death. She will just waste away. I hope that Fred does a good job watching over her while I'm gone. I ask Morty, "You game?" Morty answers me, "Why not? I have nothing better to do. Say Eric and Dad's name. It'll go with your kid and try to keep him safe." Dad answers him, "Thanks, Morty. I guess after this, it'll be the one owing you the favor." Morty answers him, no favor owed. Just doing a good deed for a friend. Besides, I really like Darren. He's a great kid. Oh, sorry, I mean cat. I then ask Dad, not wanting to sound stupid, but I really don't know. Where is this New York City? By the way, Dad then groans and says, "What? You never looked at a map before? Kids, Morty, you know the way, don't you?" He says he'll be back before the sun goes down. I say goodbye to my brother. After all, he has to get back to caring for his pets. He tells me that they are a nice middle-aged husband and wife whose children have just left home. We rub heads and he heads home. I eat and then go to sleep. It's going to be a long next few days for myself and Morty. I'm going to need all of the rest that I could get. Dad and Mom wake me up just in time to eat dinner. Morty shows up just after dark and then tells me, "I hope you're ready, Darren. It's going to be a long and dangerous trip. We should try to hitch a ride there. It would be much easier and faster than walking there on our own. Walking will take us days, hitching a ride, hours at the worst." I then start to wonder what I got myself into. I ask him, "How do we hitch a ride there?" He gives me a sly look that only a fox can give you and says, "Leave that up to me. Not my first trip there. Had to visit a cousin there a couple of years ago. He told me how to go about it last time I was there." Leaving on a jet owl just then, I hear the whistling sound of a large pair of wings, and a large owl flies just over us, so close that I could feel his backwash, and the owl yells, "Hey, Morty, is that you?" Morty answers, "Yeah, Chuck, it's me," under his breath, sighing. Me thinking, thank God. Look at the size of the claws on that owl. He could rip us up like we're nothing. Chuck the owl lands near us and asks Morty why he is so far from home this late at night. "Glad I recognized you. You two were almost on the menu, old friend." Morty answers him, "Thanks for checking us out first. By the way, the cat with me is Darren, one of Aragorn's kittens." I nod to the owl, thanking the gods that I am alive, as well as trying to look brave. Chuck tells me Darren Aragon is a great cat. He also helps take care of some of the rest of us, you know, keeping us safe from the humans, as well as help to care for some of us when we get sick or hurt. Heck, he helped me once. Now, what are you guys doing out so late? Don't you know it's real? No shit. dangerous out here this time of night. Morty laughs and answers Chuck. Look, Chuck, Theron and I have to get to New York City and find Central Park. Theron needs to find somebody there. Chuck looks at Theron and says to him, "So young cat, who do you need to find in Central Park and why?" I answer him with the truth, giving Chuck the story. Why not? It couldn't hurt. Chuck looks at both Morty and Theron and then says to them, "I guess I'm just going to you two out. How would you guys like a ride there?" Before I answer him, I ask the magical question, "Why are you willing to help us?" Chuck sighs and answers me, "I guess I just owe your dad for his kindness from the time I got sick and he healed me. By the way, you're either very brave or stupid. This is going to be a tough trip." "Very tough." I answer Chuck, "I am very much aware of that, but I have to attempt to save my pet human, so maybe a little of both brave and stupid." Chuck, of course, starts laughing. Morty adds in, "And maybe a just bit batshit crazy too." Now Chuck is rolling in laughter. I think, thanks Morty. Say, Chuck, how are we going to fly there? A ride there? How? I will fly you guys there, if you like. Chuck answers me, "He'll bring you there one at a time. Whoever goes first will have to wait a little while and hide till I can bring the other one there. Once we're all there, he'll stay around and play scout for you guys. Then when you're done, they'll bring you guys back home to the park. How's that for a plan?" Morty answers Chuck, "It's a better plan than mine. Theron, I suggest we accept Chuck's help." I think on it for all of 2 seconds and agree with Chuck's plan. Like Morty said, it was a better plan than his or mine, come to think of it. Chuck then says, "Give me a few minutes to get ready and grab some food. I haven't had dinner yet." Chuck comes back after a few minutes, looking much happier. Morty asks him, "Good snack?" And no, we don't need to know the details. Chuck answers Morty, "It was okay. I feel better. Okay, who goes first?" Morty and I had discussed this while Chuck was off feeding his face. I tell Chuck, "I guess that's me. He'll go first." I tell him with a little trepidation, "What do you need me to do?" Chuck then instructs me just to stand normal, and he will use his claws to hold on to me, but warns me it may hurt some. He also tells me that he will have to take a couple of rest stops along the way. After all, it is 70 miles or so. He says he usually does not carry something as heavy as me that far. Now, I am not large as far as cats go, maybe 5 to 6 pounds. Even so, I understand what he's getting at. When he's ready, I stand perfectly still and await his pickup. But Osiris, those claws, look sharp. I hope it doesn't hurt too much. Chuck hovers over me and gently grabs me. After seeing how sharp that those claws are, I am totally surprised at how gentle Chuck's grip is, and away we go. Chuck takes us gently into the air, I guess trying not to scare me too much, and we head towards the south. I must admit, I was scared at first, but wow, what an exhilarating experience. My first time flying, after all. We stop every half hour or so. Chuck can rest as needed. He must have done this before, because he seems to know exactly where he is going and he knows the limits of his endurance. He tells me he is purposely flying low and slow, so I don't freeze. It seems as you go higher, the air gets cooler. I wouldn't care to do this during a storm or during the winter. At our first rest stop, he asks me how I like the flight. In an excited voice, I answer him, "Wow, this is so much fun. I'm jealous of your ability to fly." "Wow," Chuck answers me, "glad that you enjoy the flight. Took your dad somewhere once like this. He enjoyed it as well." If not, it may not matter. We take off once again. After a while, slowly, it seems, heading toward a place with big buildings. I have never seen such enormous buildings. Chuck lets me know that what I'm looking at is New York City. To imagine, there is a park amidst all of those tall buildings. Getting around in it would have been a daunting task for myself and Morty. I really have to thank Chuck when we sit down. Chuck takes another rest. I guess I am too heavy for him for this long a flight. I try to ask him about my dad at this point. He says, sorry, he doesn't tell tales out of school, and goes to stretching his wings and claws. Those claws are huge, and it's amazing how gentle he can be with them. The tips are sharper and stronger than my own. Something for me to think about while he's carrying me.